Woohoo! We're live. I'm so excited. We're on the last problem in chapter 6, at least for now. This is Math 60, Intermediate Algebra 6.7, page 3, section 2. Oh my goodness, this is very exciting. And number 3 should scare you a little bit because all the denominators match. And are there any gifts in math? No, there aren't. So if suddenly something seems easier, be very, very afraid. So, but don't be afraid. Let's go through it. I'm here. Well, I'm here and you're there, but you know I'm effectively there. And I'll show you how to deal with this. It's not that terrible, and it's actually kind of cool. Um, Maybe I'll convince you of that. Maybe not. Either way, I'll show you how to do it, even if you think it's not cool, which would be wrong. It is really cool. Okay, so I've got x squared over x minus 3 equals 9 over x minus 3. And as I said, we should be very, very nervous that the denominators match, which seems like some sort of a surprise present. It's not a present. Okay, so the denominators are the denominator is x minus 3. So we don't want it to equal 0. So let's look for what happens when it does equal 0. Okay, so that means that x equals 3. So when x equals 3, and you can pretty much see that happening, 3 minus 3 gives you 0. So the restriction is don't let x be 3. Remember that. Finally, we're going to get to use this. It's very exciting. I know it's been building for so many sections. And finally, we're getting up there. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so the least common denominator, suspiciously easy, x minus 3. And I multiply everybody. Now, again, it seems like a bit of a present. There are only 2 terms. This is such a sneaky trick, but we're going to multiply everybody by x minus 3. So x minus 3 over 1 on the left, and x minus 3 over 1 on the right. And I remember that blue shows up better than yellow. Woohoo! So here, everybody gets an x minus 3 over 1, right? Okay, and so, and I'll write it again, as I am wont. So the x minus 3 cancels there. Oops, let me scooch it up. The x minus 3 cancels there. Like I said, wow, you should be really suspicious when it's this easy. This is that point in Indiana Jones where he looks up and realizes that the giant ball is going to get him. Dun dun dun! X squared on the left, 9 on the right. Now, in a couple chapters, it's not even that far. It's going to be like next week. We will discuss how to solve this. And I mean, really, if x squared equals 9, I'm pretty sure you guys could come up with a couple answers there. But technically speaking, we don't know how to officially solve this right now. So what I'm going to do, and it's going to feel really silly, and I know you're all going to be like, seriously? And the answer is yes, seriously. I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. Get x squared minus 9 equals 0 because this is a quadratic. And the only way we know how to solve a quadratic is to set it equal to 0 and factor. So that's what we'll do. This is a difference of 2 squares. X plus 3, x minus 3. X plus 3 equals 0, or x minus 3 equals 0. Minus 3, x equals negative 3, or plus 3, x equals 3. Now, if I tell you x squared equals 9, you could have told me that x equals negative 3 or x equals positive 3. I believe that in my heart. But in our excitement to write the answers, let us not be tricked into forgetting the restriction. We can't let x equal 3. So what the heck do we do? Well, what you do, and this varies, there are different styles, but what I was taught to do is you list both numbers and you put an x through the 3. And that tells everyone that 3 was one of the answers that comes up, but it's not a legal answer. This is called an extraneous solution. Now, extraneous sounds like a really weird kind of word that only, math teachers would use, but you actually use it all the time if you use the word extra. So it's extraneous. So shall we check? Woohoo. So it did say solve and check. So let's go ahead and solve and check. X squared all over x minus 3 equals 9 over x minus 3. Shall we check the answer? Okay, what are our two answers? X equals -3 or x equals 3. Honestly, we could check the x equals 3. Even if we didn't have the restriction, we could, if we tried to check this one, we'd get 3 squared all over 3 minus 3. Does that equal 9 over 3 minus 3? And a lot of people say, well, yeah, of course it does. Because, those match. You get 9 over 3 minus 3 equals 9 over 3 minus 3. And the thing is in math, you're not allowed to say two things that don't exist equal each other. These are undefined. So this is the runaway situation. Runaway. So that would tell us x is not equal to 3. No, we cannot let that happen. Okay, so let's try the same thing. X squared over x minus 3 equals 9 over x minus 3. And let's try x equals -3. So this is the check. There we go. Let's try x equals -3. So in other words, I'm going to take -3 and square it over -3 minus 3. Does that equal 9 over, -3 minus 3? Well, yeah. Over here we get 9 over -6. Over here we get 9 over -6. Those are equal. Check. Take a look at that. Because x squared, when x is -3 equals 9, you end up with matching left and right sides. So the answer is x equals -3. Nine over 0, undefined. Run away. Woohoo. We did it. Chapter 6 is done. Bam. Congratulations. I will see you soon for the rest of the math.